So I know some of you guys shoot film, and I know that a lot of you guys are Fujifilm users, and have probably used the Fujifilm simulations at some point, and I could be wrong, but I assume at least some of you may want to know what the actual difference is between shooting film and shooting digital. Now, I don't mean in the basic sense, obviously one of them produces digital files and the other has an actual roll of film. I mean more the process of editing the photo. How does it start off and how do you get it to a point where you would say there's the final photo? And unless you've actually shot film and got your scans back and edited those and got to see the difference between a film scan and like a raw digital file, then you wouldn't really know. So that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and another video. So obviously there is a difference between shooting film and shooting digital, and it starts right as you want to take the actual photo. So in your normal digital camera, like our Fuji, which is right here. So as I'm sure all of you already know, to take a photo on a digital camera, you point it out your scene, compose your shot, adjust your exposure so you have no zebras in the scene and nothing is overexposed, and you snap your photo. Pretty simple. But when it comes to taking a film photo, it's not quite as simple. So as you can see behind me here, I have two different cameras. I have my Nikon FE and my Yashica Mat. Now with the Nikon, which is a 35mm camera, it has a built-in light meter, so it's almost a point and shoot scenario. You can adjust exposure compensation and stuff on the top if you think the scene needs it. With my Yashica, it has no light meter, so I have to use the light meter which I use on the phone all the time. I have to light meter the scene. I'm sure if you've watched any film photographers, you'll have a half idea what that means. But essentially, I have to meter the scene, find out how much light there is, and what settings I need to use to expose my film to get the correct exposure. And when it comes to exposing, digital and film is almost completely the opposite. So like I said, with the digital, you want to make sure you're not overexposing anything or blowing out your highlights. And with the film photo, you want to make sure that you're not crushing your shadows too much. Because film does not do well with bringing back detail in the shadows, but it does do really well with bringing back detail from the highlights. Whereas digital is the opposite. It doesn't do that well when you blow out your highlights, but it does really well with bringing shadows back. So here is a film photo and a digital photo of the exact same scene, and I haven't really tried to edit these photos the exact same. I've just made some adjustments to get the final photo how I like it to look. Now, I don't want this to be an editing tutorial at all because I do find those quite boring, but I do want to show you just a quick little bit of the process as to how I get to the final photo with either digital or film and how it varies. So just before I show you that, here are the before and afters of both the film photo and the digital photo. And I do quite like both of those final photos, but the process to get there is quite a bit different. So as you can see, there is much more of a difference with the digital before and after compared to the film before and after. The digital photos normally always require a lot more editing because you have to expose for the highlights, which means the entire image usually gets a lot darker and the detail has to be brought back during editing. And with modern camera sensors, this is easy to do, and you can literally bring back all the shadow detail and still not really add much noise to the image. Now I shoot in RAW, which means the images end up quite flat and a bit desaturated, so I make adjustments to that and use my own presets to get the final look that I like. Now with the film photo, like I said earlier, you need to expose more for the shadows because film is great at holding highlight detail, but not so much when it comes to the shadows and darker parts of the image. But that does mean if you expose things correctly, you do get nice bright scans back that normally look great and don't really require much editing. Or at least I found for my editing style, I don't need to do too much. I normally just have to reduce the highlights to bring back the detail in the sky or any other bright parts of the image, and then usually I just need to boost the saturation a little and maybe slightly adjust white balance, and normally by that stage I'm pretty happy with how the photo looks. So just to show you, here are a few other before and after examples from both digital and film photos. So it really does vary depending on the conditions that you're shooting in. If it's an overcast day with really even light, then the difference between the before and after on the digital photo won't be as dramatic as the first example that I showed you. And when it comes to film photos in those overcast or even light conditions, sometimes you don't really even have to edit them at all. Maybe just a slight tweak to the white balance, which does just make the whole editing process pretty handy. Here is one more little comparison, and this one's actually from our Italy trip a few months ago. That video will be up soon, by the way. Hopefully it will be the next one if I can get things all edited together by next week. So yeah, I just thought I would make this quicker little video just to show you guys that process a little bit and the actual difference between digital and film, because it was quite interesting to me the first time I seen it. I have been loving film photography since I started it like over a year ago, partly because of the older cameras and just the feel of them and using them, but then also because of the workflow process. It's just nice. But then again, I also love using my Fujifilm cameras and the results I can get with them. I think it just really depends what process you prefer most. You can get amazing shots with both. Anyway, I'll stop blabbering because I don't want this to be long. But if you enjoyed this one and aren't subscribed, then please hit the subscribe button, maybe give it a thumbs up, and also drop a comment below and let me know whether you shoot digital or film or both. And whatever you shoot, feel free to join our Discord below and share some of your photos, and we can chat about cameras, or you can ask questions, or whatever you want. It's just a cool place to hang out and chat about photography. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this one. So as we always say, take it easy, don't be a stranger.